Hi everybody, welcome back to Tips for You. I have some great car care tips for you today. Basic tips, great things that you'll want to keep in mind to take care of your car. Basic things that will help your car get better fuel efficiency, last longer, stay healthier, and require less maintenance. Now everybody with your car gets an owner's manual. You also get a scheduled maintenance guide. The owner's manual talks all about the particulars of your car. It tells you every part you'll ever need, the type of oil, the type of fuel, everything you want to know about your car. Always read the owner's manual when you get a new car. It doesn't have to be new, it's a used car. So if you buy a used car from someone, always ask for the owner's manual, and if they lost it, don't have it, then call the car company and try to get a hold of it because it's something you really want to have. You also get a scheduled maintenance guide. Follow that closely. It contains the important information that was put in there by the dealer so that your car can run at its peak and its most efficient. Because there's so many cars on the road that have different schedules. Some, don't need servicing until 100,000 miles, and others need it at intervals of 5,000, etc. So we're going to go over some basic things I think you'll find very helpful and very handy, especially if you're a new driver. Your parents just gave you the keys and said, here you go. It's good now to familiarize yourself with taking care of the car. So some basic things. This is my car. It's a Ford Explorer. I love Ford. So let's start with the tires. And what you want to do with your tires is you want to check periodically the air pressure of your tires. Because every time there's a fluctuation in temperature, you could lose a pound or two in air pressure, and you want to keep them optimal. Now, how do you know what your optimal air pressure is for your tires and how they should be running? Well, it's easy. Inside your door is a little label, and on this label it tells you what is your pounds per square inch. It's called PSI, cold. Now you just look it up. Now for my Ford Explorer, it's 35 pounds PSI cold. That means that my tires need to be filled to 35 pounds when they're cold. Now the tires have to be cold. You don't check the inflation of your tires when your tires have been running, because when the rubber heats up, the PSI goes up. So for the true PSI, they have to be cold. Now what you'll want to have are tire gauges. This one I purchased in Walmart. It's by Slime. And I like these very much because they're very exact. They also sell these if you go to like an auto parts store. So you see this kind too. This is also a tire gauge. Put it in front of the car so you can see it. See that? And it has a little stick that comes flying out when it catches the air pressure. These are not my favorite. Lots of times dirt and sand and things can get in, hamper the ability for this thing to go up and down, and that's why I keep it in a plastic sandwich bag in my glove compartment, so it always stays clean. And it's nice to have a backup because sometimes these things get faulty. So you want to be able to check and make sure. It's very important to have your tires properly inflated, because what it does is it helps them wear evenly, and you don't want your tires to wear unevenly because that can cause rapid wear of your tires, uneven driving. So you'll want to rotate your tires periodically. We're going to talk about that in a second. So let's take a little sample of how you do this. So every tire has one of these little tubes coming out of it, and it has a little cap on it. You want to make sure all of your tires have this little cap to cover this little valve. Okay? Now you take this, you make sure it's on 0. You hold the tube of the tire in your hand so that you can stabilize yourself, so that you can push it on straight. You don't want to let air out, because if you push it a certain way, this thing also lets air out if you put too much air in. So it's very, very handy. So what you do is you just quickly press it on, and this reads it, and it says that I have 36 pounds per square inch. Now you know that this said 35, that it should be at 35. But I did drive just for a second down the street, and I came back, and it probably caused it to go up. When I checked them about a week ago, they were at 35, so I'm not going to worry about that. But that's how you do it. and then you put the cap back on. Do that with all 4 of your tires, and do it periodically, at least once a month. And when the seasons change, you should do it right then and there, because temperature drops and temperature rises will affect your air pressure. A word about rotating. Like I said, it's very important to rotate your tires. You want to rotate your tires about every 6,000 miles. So keep a log, write it down, or the easy way is, if you have an older car that requires oil changes every 3,000 miles, then just rotate your tires every other oil change. And that's why you're going to follow your scheduled maintenance book. Because some cars say 5,000 miles, that's what my car says, 5,000 miles. The newer cars are 7,500 miles. Some high-performance cars are 10,000 miles. If you use synthetic oil, you get more mileage that you can go longer. If you don't use synthetic oils, you get less. If you use a blend, I mean, there's, it goes all different ways. You can never change your oil too much. The oil is the lifeblood of the car. Okay, so when you change your oil, think about what else you need to have done and take a look at the car and see what needs to be done. Okay, now we're going to go underneath the hood, and I'm going to show you where the oil, where you can check for your oil, and talk to you a little bit about changing your oil. So if you'll come inside my car, I'll show you how to pop your hood in case you don't know. There is a little lever in here that says trunk release. It's right here. You just pull that. In most cars it's located here or up here. Okay, so look for it there. It usually has the picture of a car on it. I have a piece of towel paper with me because I'm going to show you how to check your oil. So you raise the hood of your car, okay? And this is what the inside of a car looks like. It's very nice and neat. Everything's positioned the way it needs to be. Here, and if you don't know your particular car, where your dipstick is, just look at your car diagram in the beginning of your owner's manual. It lays out where everything is. This is my engine oil dipstick. This is the oil, where the oil goes, okay? This is the dipstick. All you do is gently pull it out, and if you want to check the oil, just grab it here, guide it so you don't touch oil to anything else. It's pretty long, goes all the way into the engine, and it's got fuel going up it, and it's also got writing on it. It tells you where the maximum is and where you have to add fuel. So when you take it out the first time, you wipe it off because you want it to be clean. Now there's nothing on it. Then you carefully, sometimes they're curvy, so don't yank it back in. You don't want to bend this thing. You gently slide it back in all the way down till it's closed, and then you gently pull it back up again. And then you read it. Now, if you can see that, my oil maximum is right there, and that's where we pretty much go to. And I'm very good about getting my oil changed. If it were low, it would be probably down here, and I would have to add, and I would have to check my owner's manual about that. Now you know where your engine dipstick for the oil, the engine oil dipstick, is located. And it's pretty the same in most cars. It's kind of always in this area, and it's color-coded sometimes. So we'll put that back. Another word on oil changes. Whenever you get your oil changed, and by the way, you should always check your oil on level, flat surface. And you want to do it when the car's off, checking it when it's off, and you want to make sure that it's cold, that you haven't been just running the car, because then it's circulating through the engine. Okay, when you get an oil change and you come home, put some newspaper or a big piece of cardboard right under the front of your car, okay, right under this area, so that if there's any oil leaks, you will see them drip on the paper. And why do I say that? Because oftentimes when you have an oil change, they don't tighten the oil cap underneath. In order to change your oil, they open an oil cap, let the oil drain out, and then they put the oil cap back on, and they put new fresh oil in and a new filter, okay? What happens is sometimes they don't tighten it all the way, and then you have a leak. And this has happened to me numerous times. What you want to make sure is that you know about it, because in time you can lose a lot of oil that way. And if you see any little puddle or any little leak, go back to the garage, have them tighten it, tell them you noticed a puddle that it could be leaking, and have them fix that. And go right to your dipstick and see, well, let's see, how much oil have I lost? Because if you hadn't noticed it for quite a while, you might have lost enough oil that you'd be concerned. And if you have to add oil to even get to the garage, be careful you don't add too much oil. You can ruin your engine. Now, while we're in here, let's talk about a couple of things that are very useful for you to know. This is your radiator, and every now and then you just want to look at this plastic tube which has a full line and a low line, and just make sure, if you come around over here, you can see the fluid. See, the fluid is up here. Here's the full line. You don't want to go beyond that, because when it starts to circulate and build up pressure, this gets used up more. So you want to make sure that that is below the full line and it's running properly. And you have to go by your manual when to change your radiator fluid. It used to be 30,000 miles, but now cars are just much more efficient. And they're using different chemicals. Now it could be 50,000 miles, it could be 100,000 miles. So again, refer to your owner's manual, because it's going to be different for everyone. But just be aware of it. Be aware that that is something that you will flush. It's called a coolant flush. And you will change your antifreeze from time to time. So just be aware of that. And you'll sound really smart to your friends. This over here is the windshield wiper. This is for my car, and you'll find it in other cars. You'll look for it. It's usually, you'll see blue fluid in it. Mine just has a little picture of a windshield wiper on it. You just open up this cap and you just pour in the windshield wipers. That is something that you always want to keep on top of, because nothing is worse than being in snow or you can't see and your windshield is fogged up and you're unable to clean it, and you're driving along and it's a real problem. So always make sure, and when you get an oil change, have them check your fluids. Have them check your brake fluid. Have them check your transmission fluid. Have them check your power steering fluid. They should be looking at all of your fluids with an oil change. That's their job. Just remind them when they go in, please check my fluids as well. That's why you're going to have your oil serviced. Okay. Couple other things. This is your battery. These are sealed batteries. They have no problems. You'll notice if you have a battery problem, if your car has a hard time starting, it starts to slow start, then you know it's time to change your battery. Okay? That's just something to keep in mind. All right, so another basic maintenance item is changing your air filter. It helps the car's engine run cleaner. It can really help you save your gas mileage by having your engine's air filter. It's a very inexpensive thing. You can see the part number in your owner's manual. You can literally go down to like AutoZone with that little part number, and sometimes they'll even show you exactly where it is in your car. It's very easy to get to. It's really about unclipping something, putting it in, and it's something for you to be aware of, because if you'd like to do things yourself to save money, you can put in your air filter yourself. If you don't want to, it's only going to cost you about $20 or so to have them do it when you have an oil change. Pay attention, if you haven't had one for, say, 25,000 miles or so, put one in, because it's really good to keep track of having a clean air filter in your car. And now what I'd just like to mention briefly is about your brakes. It's another very important thing about the car. When they do your tire rotation, that's when they can tell whether or not your brakes are worn. So be sure to ask. Be sure to say, I'd like to see how are my brakes looking. And they usually will mark that down, but if they don't, be sure you ask. You always want to be sure that you know that they're wearing and it's time to replace them. If you wait too long, you could damage your rotors and they need to be recut, and it costs a lot more money. So if you can catch it in time and you're aware of things, all you'll need to do is put new brake pads on, and that costs a lot less. So how do you tell if your brakes are getting low? Lots of times you hear a scratching sound when you put the brakes on, or you hear a rubbing, or like a screeching sound. You almost hear like metal on metal because your brake pads are worn out. Think of a bicycle. When you're riding your bicycle, and every time you squeeze the brakes, those rubber pads are stopping the tire. If those rubber pads wore down, you would be having metal on the side rim of your metal bicycle tire, and you'd hear like a screeching sound. Sometimes brakes do squeak just from being out in the dry weather, in the sand. I've had new brakes put on my car, and they've squeaked right after new brakes were put on. Or they'll squeak, you know, just periodically during dry times, or if I've been down near the beach or something. So just get to know your car, get to know its sounds, and it'll help you just pinpoint if anything is wrong. It's always easy to just go drive into a mechanic. They're very friendly. Just ask them, hey, can you check this for a minute? They're always very willing to help, especially when you're going to take, you know, a long trip or go on vacation, going off to college or something like that. Okay, so let's talk a couple of things about keeping your car clean. One of the things that I suggest you do is get these nice rubber mats. And this one has dirt I could take out, but see how thick they are? Anytime you get in and out, you know, you've got dirt on your feet. You've also got water when it rains. If you spill a cup of coffee or something, then you've got these to catch it. And what they do is they protect your nice carpets. Now, a lot of manufacturers of these mats suggest that you take the carpeted mats out and replace them with your rubber mats. And if it's a problem for you and your pedal is too low, you may want to do that. For me, it's fine. I have small feet. I don't raise my feet up too high. But I have these mats. These are Ford mats made specifically for the Ford Explorer. But there's lots of great mats on the market that are with other manufacturers. You can look into whatever your car is and buy those mats that suit exactly for your car, because they're really cut out nice and designed to be a perfect fit for your car. If you have leather like I do, you want to be sure that you always keep a towel in your car. When I come back from the track or from the gym, and let's say I didn't have a chance to shower then, I'm going to shower at home, or one of my sweaty son gets in the car, he knows he does not put his sweaty body on the seats of my car. Even if you don't have leather and you have cloth, you still want to keep your car smelling fresh. You don't want body and oil stains on your car. So just keep a towel or two handy that you can, you know, in a pinch, you just put it down. You never know when someone's wet, or you've got sunscreen on, or you've been in the pool or whatever. And it's a great way to protect the interior of your car. If you ever want to sell your car, the first thing a dealer looks at, or anyone looks at, is how well you kept the interior, because that tells them how well you kept the engine, how well you kept the rest of the car. Another thing that I have is a bed liner for the inside of the trunk, and this is a very, very useful thing. You don't have to get Explorer, but I found that they're just as competitively priced when I bought it as the other retailers that make these, and it fits perfectly in the car. And what's really nice about it is it protects the carpeting. It's easy to slide groceries in and out. If you buy plants, if you buy, one time when my kids were really small, I had brought home some milk from the supermarket, put it in my car. It was leaking. I didn't have one of these. The milk got all over the carpet. I can't even tell you the smell of getting milk out of your car. So have a bed liner. You know, always have that protected, because if anything spills, it's really a problem and a headache for you to clean. And one last thing, I'd like to suggest that you make sure you have a roadside assistance program. That you have AAA, or if your insurance has roadside assistance, that's important. Or you can look into your warranty if you have a newer car. Sometimes they offer roadside assistance for whatever the warranty period is of your car. We have both. We have, you know, newer cars, so we have that. We also have AAA. AAA is great because you get discounts on lots of things. You get discounts on movies and, you know, movie tickets, shopping, things like that, hotels. And before you know it, you've actually paid for the cost of having AAA. And we've used it, and there's nothing better. They come promptly. Know whether you can have your car pulled or not. I always ask for a flatbed whenever there's a problem with a car. It's a big truck that comes with a big bed, and they put your car on top of the bed, and then they pull your car away and it doesn't damage any front end, or you don't have to worry about your tires or anything like that. It's just sitting on top of a car. They're experts at it. They know just what to do. So that's just something to keep in mind. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope that you will keep these tips in mind and care for your car like you care for yourself. And I promise you, if you do, your car will take care of you. And please subscribe, because I have a lot more to come, including more car videos that I think you'll find helpful. I'm going to do one on washing and waxing your car properly, as well as how to increase fuel efficiency with your techniques of driving. Okay, so please visit me at my blog spot where I do a lot of writing. And please also like my Facebook page so we can stay connected there as well, and follow me on Twitter. And I will see you soon. Okay, bye-bye now.